This material is a sample of the actual waste that was taken from the site. This is a horrendous example of, if you like, environmental hooliganism, for want of a better word, to leave these materials in the open air. I mean, there's obviously organic contamination, there's obviously elemental mercury contamination, and you can actually see it. I mean, it's so contaminated that you can actually see the contamination in the sample without recourse to any analytical chemical techniques, without recourse to any fancy chemistry at all. I think in this particular area there's a very strong case to be made for returning these toxic waste substances back to the source. After all, what's happened is a fairly cynical exercise in which mercury has been bought from the mining company in the area on condition that a route for return exists. The disposal of these wastes should be the responsibility of the generator, and they should never have been transported transboundary in the first place. They should have been dealt with on site. The sampling exercise, the very limited sampling exercise that we have done, shows indeed that mercury is leaving the site into the little lagoon that exists at the end of the site. It's also leaving the site and entering the drainage channel and becoming associated with the sediments in this drainage channel, together, and this is the important thing, together with anthraquinone, which is present in the wastes that are stored on the site, also present in the muds at the bottom of the drainage channel. So there is no doubt at all that materials are leaving those sites, probably in substantial quantities.
This area is considered a special bird protection area under a European Community Directive because of the high quantity of highly endangered species such as imperial eagle, black vulture, black stork, or other species such as lynx and wolf. In the first place, this is not legal because the European Directive of Birds explains clearly that these areas should be preserved from pollution and toxic waste landfill. In the long term, what could happen is that the water courses will be polluted and the fauna of the area will disappear. We are afraid that the opening of the frontiers in 1992 will mean that countries with low population density and with large free spaces, as is the case in Spain, will receive thousands of tons of toxic waste. Under the excuse of recycling, countries of southern Europe, especially Spain, could become a landfill for northern countries. We are very worried because recycling, a term used until now by environment groups, has been adopted by the waste management companies, and under the pretext of recycling, a great deal of waste movement is happening and will increase. In fact, in the case of Almaden, these wastes were imported as waste for recycling, but never were recycled. The barrels were dumped in the area and abandoned, polluting the environment. For that reason, we are afraid that accepting recycling, as it is proposed in this directive, would mean acceptance of a legal waste trade.
De una manera legal.